To be able to see people come up with great ideas or to be able to help them come up with great ideas, it's happening all over the place in Detroit right now. There's something about Detroit that really embodies the spirit to start whatever it is you want to do with your life. Start over, start fresh, start a business. You know, it's a big city, but it's a small community of makers and small business owners and people that really want to support each other.
Entrepreneurs should be willing to take a chance and put themselves out there.
Entrepreneurs are people who take risks.
If you got an idea, just get out there and make it happen. There's no right time. Just gotta leap, take the jump.
Ideas are not always clear.
Good ideas can come from within, or they can come from collaborating with other people.
The biggest piece of advice I can give to somebody that has an idea and doesn't know how to go forward is say it out loud. And it sounds really simple, but that idea can sit there and resonate in your head, and it doesn't start to feel real until you start telling people that you're going to do it, and that makes it real all of a sudden.
Build Institute is an incubator for ideas.
It's a great place to share that idea in confidence with other people, get a lot of great feedback, and grow it into something that could potentially be a business.
Every opportunity begins with an idea.
The real question is, how do you take an idea and turn it into an opportunity?
All right. Well, good morning, everyone. You can hear me okay? Okay, good. I'm happy to be here. Thank you, Intermitten and Heidi, for having me, and thank you for having the courage to talk about what we're going to talk about today. It's an honor to be here to share our work with you, and this is a topic that I'm very passionate about, disrupting traditional capital. So I've seen that video probably 1,000 times, and it still gives me goosebumps. It's really inspiring. I hope that you found it inspiring. Anyone? Okay. And maybe by the looks of it, Detroit is done. We're good, right? Detroit is back. People are moving downtown. Businesses are opening. Stadiums are being built. We have unicorns popping up all over the place. We're good. But I hate to burst the bubble. It's not the case. This video featured, 8, 10 businesses of diversity. We need to be seeing 100, 1,000 times that to see the impact that we want to see, right? To have a more equitable and inclusive economy that reaches all corners of the city and beyond. So, why isn't that happening? That was a rhetorical question you don't have to answer, so just think about it. And that was my cue to just pause and take a deep breath. So I'm gonna lift your spirits, and then I'm gonna dash them, okay? Throughout this this talk, I was told that is what a good talk includes. Okay, so the system. Why this isn't happening is because the system is rigged. Okay, has anybody heard that before? Is this a new concept to some of you? Okay, okay, maybe rigged is a strong word, but it is totally unfair, inequitable, and set up to favor a certain type of entrepreneur. Okay, this is an extreme example. Do you guys know who this is? By the laughs, I think you do. Okay. So yes, Heidi alluded to this earlier, that the system is really set up to favor white males in high-growth, high-tech sector. But that is not great for our economy. In fact, economic inequality is at the highest it's been since the 20s, much to do with the tech sector. And we're wondering about the rest of us. And it's my argument that that is where we're going to see the most growth, by investing in the rest of us, women, people of color, multi-abilities, underestimated founders, as we've heard earlier. So, but it's just not happening. So why isn't it happening? Again, that was a rhetorical question. You think about it for a few minutes. So another piece of bad news is that entrepreneurship generally is on a 40-year downswing. And that is also not good for our economy because that's where jobs are created, that's where innovation happens. So this is according to Kauffman Foundation and the Brookings Institute and the Census Bureau. And I believe part of the challenge is that conventional or traditional funding methods are not always accessible, especially for women and people of color. So is this news to anyone in the room? Okay. So if everybody knows about it, why isn't it changing the way it needs to change, at the pace that it needs to change? Okay, think about that. And so, you know, women and people of color and LGBTQ, we have pennies on the dollar compared to our white male counterparts. And I don't think we should put up with that anymore. Do you? No. Okay, good. We're on the same page. So, you may see different stats throughout the day. You know, some say it's between 2% and 10%. Whatever the number is, the number sucks, right? It's not a good number. Women are 50% of the population, yet we're stuck here. And traditional banking is similar. And okay, so that last stat, it's even worse for people of color, even worse. Women business owners get less bank loans and 50% less in the amount of the bank loan they get. We are woefully, tragically underfunded. And so this is one thing that is contributing to economic inequality in our country. We know that most startups, regardless of sector, start with friends and family money. We are also working with people because of racist policies, redlining, bias in hiring, bias in lending. They don't have friends and family money. They haven't been able to accumulate wealth over time. So we're not allowing people access to that early stage friends and family, proof of concept money to get out there and test ideas, to learn from their mistakes and come back stronger, which our more affluent entrepreneurs get to do all the time, all the time. And so this might be a good time for me to introduce myself, even though I was introduced earlier. But I am April Boyle, the founder and director of Build Institute, an entrepreneurship training program, so Idea Activator, Small Business Accelerator, focused on equitable and inclusive entrepreneurship. And so what that means is we work with mostly women, mostly people of color, with mostly no money, okay? But they have great ideas, they have great work ethic, amazing talent, tremendous grit, and they deserve an opportunity. They deserve a chance and an investment. But not only is it a moral imperative, I heard somebody say earlier, it's an economic imperative. If the United States is going to lead, we need every single individual to be able to live up to their potential, every single one. So we believe at Build Institute that there's nothing more powerful than an idea whose time has come. And we want anybody who has an idea, we want their time to come. So we have graduated over 1,700, close to 2,000 now in 2019, ideas through our various programs. We've helped start or retain about 500 companies and about 2,000 jobs with very, very diverse, equitable founders and teams. So access to capital tends to be one of the top 3 issues. We also believe that we would be at full employment if 1 in 3 small businesses hired an additional employee, and small businesses create 2 out of 3 jobs. So we believe that small businesses are the backbone of our economy. They create jobs, they keep wealth and ownership in our neighborhoods, they help redevelop commercial corridors in neighborhoods, and most importantly, they help preserve our culture and our sense of place so that we really have uniqueness, vibrancy, we care about creativity and the arts. And so, Detroit. I was born and raised in Detroit. South Detroit, they were going to play the Journey song. You guys, anybody know that Journey song? I don't think you're old enough, but okay. So I was born in 1973, 5 years after the riots. And I will call it a riot. Some people say, oh, it's a rebellion or other things. But because of this quote, I will continue to call it a riot. Because I just think this is so encapsulates what Detroit has gone through, what Detroit is still going through when it comes to trying to get equal access to opportunity and funding. So I have seen the decline in my lifetime, 45, almost 46 years, our disinvestment in our neighborhoods and in our talent. We have some challenges in Detroit. We just faced the largest municipal bankruptcy in the country. So I'm going to depress you again, but I swear I'm going to make you happy in a few more minutes. There are areas in the community, neighborhoods, low high school graduation rates, high illiteracy rates. We have subpar public transportation. I could go on and on with the challenges. But what we do have is amazing talent. And we need to start investing in people. So we believe that dreams and talent are universal, but opportunity is not. And the time has come for all of us to stand up and get involved and not wait for venture capitalists, not wait for the banks or Wall Street to give us permission to invest in businesses in our communities, in ideas that we love. And so anybody in here, I think I saw somebody ask this question earlier about who's an investor. And I only saw 1 or 2 people raise their hand because traditionally, to be an investor, an accredited investor, you have to have $1 million, not including in wealth, not including your home, and you have to make over $200,000 a year for multiple years in order to be able to invest. I don't know about all of you. That is not me, okay? But I may have $5, $10, $25, $500, or $1,000 that I'm willing to put towards a project in my neighborhood. Anybody else feel like maybe they'd consider that? A couple people? All right. Well, good. So I'm going to give you and talk about a couple projects that Build Institute runs that may inspire you or give you that opportunity. So the first one is Detroit Soup. Anybody here heard of Detroit Soup? Okay, awesome. So Build took over the operations for Detroit Soup at the end of 2017. We do 4 to 6 citywide soups and 6 to 12 neighborhood soups every year. It is a crowdsourced micro-granting dinner for creative projects and businesses in Detroit. What is Detroit Soup? You'll hear when you come to a soup, and I think there was one around here recently, Engage Soup or Soup Engage Ann Arbor. Okay, and I think the winners in the audience, maybe, woo! So Build Institute exists to help democratize entrepreneurship and access to funding. We want to break down barriers and we want to help founders, but we also want to empower all of you to become investors in your neighbors and in your communities. So this is a public dinner. You hear 4 projects, 4 minutes, 4 questions from the audience. We break bread together and eat dinner. There's an artist who performs. Maybe you'll hear from a past winner who will talk about their successes and challenges. And then the audience votes, and the winner takes home the money. So we've held over 163 dinners over the last 10 years and helped generate over $140,000 in community investment. And if you do the math, I had to use a calculator, it's about $800 per idea. So it's not a ton of money compared to what we were talking about earlier with venture capital, but it is enough to propel you to the next level. So we have some great success stories. This is Sit On It Detroit. These are built all across the city. They're bus station benches, and there are books underneath. Also, you may have heard about Veronica Scott of the Empowerment Plan, who is taking over the world. These are projects that would not have gotten funding otherwise. A bank, a venture capitalist, finding value in this type of company. I'm going to create coats for homeless people, and I'm going to hire the homeless people to make the coats. Yeah, right. No bank, no venture capitalists. So what it does is it helps you get some cash, you get some confidence, and you get some connections. And then you're ready to move on to the next stage. Okay, so that's a little bit about Detroit Soup. Next is Kiva. Anybody heard of Kiva? They've been around for about 10 years. Awesome. It's a fintech company started in San Francisco to help underestimated founders from across the world. And Detroit was the very first city in the United States. And so Kiva is it's a crowdsourced micro loan. So unlike Soup, you get to keep the money. Kiva, you have to pay it back, which we love that because you are practicing the muscle of paying back a loan, which is part of our capitalist system. So what we offer is, Build is a trustee, or actually we're turning into a Kiva hub. We administer the program locally, and right now we represent the whole Lower Peninsula of Michigan. So we offer $500 to $10,000 loans, 0 interest and 0 fees, a fixed monthly payment, and it's not based on your credit score or collateral or other things that traditional lenders or VCs will look at. This is a character-based loan that you have to get your friends and family network to invest in you first, and then you'll have access to over $1.5 million other lenders and potential customers. So a few of our success stories. We've lent out over $680,000 in Kiva loans to 132 projects over the last 5 or 6 years. Brandon, who is a graduate of the Build program, he's also a facilitator for us, got some funding through Kiva and has continued to grow his business. And then also Gorilla Food. She brings healthy food into underinvested in communities. So if not for Kiva, these projects would not have funded, and who knows where they'd be today. So I'm going to leave you with a couple takeaways, and I really appreciate you listening to me today. I hope you heard a couple insightful things, but I really do believe that it's incumbent upon all of us that we cannot wait anymore for others to make these decisions for us. We can all be empowered to take action today, right now. You can do this on your phone. First of all, shop local. Even think about spending 10% of your annual spend in a local small business. The money stays in our community and stays in our neighborhoods, not going up to Wall Street where we never see it again. Attend a soup in your community. And if there isn't one, think about starting one. And I can help you do that. So come find me after. And then I would also say, possibly, I didn't ask you, who's been to a soup? Okay. Who has presented at a soup? Okay, one, a couple? Oh, awesome. Any Kiva lenders in the room? Okay. So maybe I can get 10% of you to lend after this, maybe. So become a lender in Kiva. And maybe if you have an idea, consider getting a loan on Kiva. All right, so that's all I have for you. Thank you so much for listening. You can find me at buildinstitute.org, and I'll be around for most of the day.